Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Trove video. Today we're going to be doing the Ice Age. This is going to be called Ice Age for Dummies. Now what does that mean? I'm going to break the Ice Age down super fast for you guys. I'm going to have like a little slideshow for you guys. So you guys can, it'd probably be best if you just pause the screen on certain one of these. I'm going to try to be as fast as possible because I don't want to make this a 10-minute video. I want to try to get as much information as I can as fast as I can so I don't waste your guys' time. So let's go ahead and get into it right off the bat. Let's get into gear. As you can see on the hat, weapon, face, ring, and banner. Now the banner is for perma only. If you don't have perma, I wouldn't really worry too much about banner. The ring, I did get crit chance on the ring. Now this is because if you're not crit cap, you want to get 100% crit cap. If once you get crit cap, then you can actually go ahead and swap the ring out for magic damage, magic fine ring. Face, like I said, you want attack speed, magic damage. Now you can swap the attack speed and crit damage around. If you get the attack speed on the third stat, it's perfectly fine. You can still get the crit damage on the the last stat. Now this is crystal gear, guys, so you will see light. Light is no matter what, you can't get it off the gear. It always comes on there. That's why it's there. Same with max health. Same with magic damage on like the ring, on the weapon. You're gonna get magic damage, you know, first stat regardless. So. Like I said, pause the screen if I'm going too fast for you. Just make sure you guys get the stuff right. This is like the best stats you're actually looking for a DPS only, guys. This is DPS build. This is not movement speed build. This is not nothing like that. This is straight DPS build to do the most damage. Let's go ahead and move on to emblems. Now emblems, you can kind of move these around a little bit. You can use some ally emblems or some like minion emblems, whatever you want to call them, that do damage too. But I think personally to do the most DPS in the game for like bossing, for anything basically, you're going to want to stick with Arcane and the Chronomatic. These two, the Chronomatic will reduce your cooldown and will give you 20% increased magic damage, I think it is. So it's just all around good. Arcane's is going to be a straight DPS boost as well. Now you can swap the Arcane out for Sure Strike if you're not crit cap, but even then I still think the Arcane is better. I know people say the crit's better, but unless you're like really like, I don't know. I don't think I would use it personally, but that's your choice. People do say the Sure Strike is going to be better. Flask, you use Death-Defying Vial and Valorous. Now, Death-Defying Vial is probably the best to use. Now, what I do is I use Death-Defying if I'm in like a delve, high delve, then I'll swap the Valorous because you're out of flask, and what that does is every crit you have a chance to get a flask back and it refills your flask back up. That's like emergency use. So if you're not using that, Death-Defying is probably the best because like I said, you're not trying to be fast here, you're just trying to stay alive and do as much DPS as possible. If you're dead, you're doing no DPS. So like I said, guys, pause the screen if you need to. We're gonna go ahead and move on to allies and food. Puck is probably the best I'm pretty sure he gives you light as well, so you definitely want to use him. If you don't have him, you can use a Chronomancer Cubesley. It is by far the best. After that, I don't think there's anything even close to that. That one's only like 30 or 40k in the market, so there's no reason you shouldn't have that. Puck, I believe you get for free, right? You can craft it to the delve stuff, so it's pretty straightforward as well. I'm not sure, I don't think you can buy Puck. I could be wrong, I can't remember. Food, this is going to be the food you get from delves. It's pretty much the best food you can get. There is no, other food only gives you like 100 light. Like it doesn't do anything. Like 100 light's really, unless you're trying to get just enough light to do Levi's. So that's the best food you can get, the free range. Let's go ahead and move on to gems. Now gems, this is going to cause a lot of people to disagree, and I'm going to explain to you why. So no matter what, you want your class gem. Like that's a must have. This is the one, Pyrodisc. People are going to say, why would you have Pyrodisc on an Ice Age? Now, you're trying to do as much DPS as possible. Now, think about this. If you're bossing or something like that, usually you have a tank or someone's doing something like that, you can get close to that boss with Pyro, and when that activates, if you stay near that boss with Pyrodisc, it does a lot of extra damage, AoE damage, and is passive. So there's no reason not to have Pyrodisc in your Ice Age. Moving on, Explosive Epilogue. This is another one. It's kind of annoying because it knocks the mobs back, but it does a lot of damage when it explodes. It's definitely worth it. Berserk is for your Cosmic. Must have. There's no other options here for DPS. Berserk is the best for DPS. Let's go ahead and move on to your lesser gems. MD, CH, CD, that's meta. You can, like I said, once you get your crit cap, you can actually pull one of your empowered gems off of crit chance, and you're better knock it down to max health. But that is when you're like, you should be like 110% when you do that. Then you can knock that off, and you should be like 101, somewhere around in there. Like, you know that's more of like a really late game or when you max your gems out. Your cosmics are magic damage, crit damage, light. No options here. You have to run that. Like I said, you can go crit and lose the CD, but there's no reason. I mean, you really shouldn't need to, because you should get plenty enough crit off your gear. And if you're really low, like PR and stuff and low gems, I wouldn't even worry about going crit cap, because crit doesn't really matter into your late game. If you're only like 70% crit, don't freak out, guys. It's not that big of a deal. If you're still upgrading gems, don't keep swapping gems just because you're not crit cap. Don't worry about it. Wait until you get your final gems that you want to upgrade, then focus on your crit. Okay, moving on. This is where it's going to get a little bit interesting for you guys. The rotation. So there's a lot of buttons on the Ice Age, I guess you could say, and you don't use really any of them. You use one. Well, technically two. So you are going to use your ultimate. You're going to flask immediately after you push in your ultimate. You're going to hold mouse 1, which is your auto attack. After 3 seconds, you're going to flask again. You're going to auto attack. You're going to flask again, and you're going to repeat your rotation. Now, keep this in mind, it's not always going to line up for you, because sometimes a boss is going to hit you, and it's going to make you use an extra flask early, or something like that, and your ultimate's going to be back up. The basic idea of this is the ultimate and flask, because automatically your ally is going to knock a couple seconds off the cooldown, right? And you're going to auto attack. That's it. You don't push mouse 2. You don't do nothing of that. You just use your auto attack, because when your ultimate's going, you do increased damage with your basic attack, basically. So when you're doing this, that's it. There's nothing else to do. So what you need to watch out for is when you're using flask, you don't want to over flask, but you don't want to under flask either. You want to keep you want to keep your 3-second damage boost up from your emblems as much as possible. If you don't, you're losing DPS, it's hurting you, and you just wasted your flask. So it's 3-second buff. Now, sometimes I might let it go. I might let it fall for a second or two, because I know that my ultimate's going to come up, and I don't want to waste a flask just for like at 1 second of my ultimate, when it can, 1 second, it's going to be reset anyways, because then I'll use my ultimate again, like the basic rotation, use the ultimate, flask again, and I basically got a damage boost again. So it's pretty straightforward, guys. Like I said, you're just going to ultimate, flask, auto attack, flask, auto attack, flask, and like that. That's a standard rotation. You keep repeating it, but pay attention to your ultimate. See where you're at. See what's going on with the boss. If you're taking extra damage, if you're taking extra flask. That's basically it, guys. If you guys have any comments on the Ice Age, we want to know. If you guys want to see a movement speed guide for the Ice Age, just comment down below, guys. I try to make this as fast as possible. I know I'm leaving out some stuff. This is just a straight basic DPS guide. There is some other stuff you can tweak to do a little more damage here and there, but that's more in-depth late game stuff that a basic player coming to the Ice Age that wants to be good for Delves, wants to be good for Levi's and stuff, doesn't really need to know right now. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys like this short video. Hit the like, hit that sub button, guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one.